Let me offer you something to consider today. Your life may not be responding to your effort, it may be responding to your self concept. Because here is something most people never stop to examine. Your life, it organizes itself around who you believe yourself to be. Not what you say you want, not what you're trying to force, not what you're trying to manifest, but truly who you believe yourself to be. And most of the time, that belief is operating quietly beneath your awareness. And so, before we go any further, if this is a kind of conversation that resonates with you, follow along, like, share. I share practices and reflections like this to help us become more aware of our patterns so we can begin living more consciously. That's how everything changes. And so, if something I say sparks something in you today, don't just take my word for it. Try it on. Try it on. And so back to self-concept, right? Because self-concept, it's not just a thought. It's actually the nervous system's expectation of reality. Like your nervous system is constantly organizing life around what it believes is true about you. And so who you believe or who you believe you are is determined by what you expect, what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you believe is even possible for you. And your brain will filter out the evidence that confirms that identity, not because it's trying to hold you back, but because it's trying to keep your reality predictable and familiar. And so if you believe yourself to be not worthy, then you will constantly reject that or anything that bumps up against your worthiness. And that will create your reality. Because if somebody says, here's all of your dreams come true, could you hold them? Unlikely. It's very unlikely because you don't believe, you don't know within yourself based on your self-concept. I mean, this is something that is just so powerful when we can really, really understand and work on that within. It is so easy for us to blame, shame, and guilt ourselves over and over and over again. And if you think about every time you blame yourself, shame yourself, or guilt yourself, that is what you believe within yourself. Therefore, it creates your reality. The universe isn't waiting for you to shift in order to be generous or abundant. It is all here, ready and waiting for you, or not waiting, but existing. Your brain is constantly acting. Your brain is constantly asking one question. Does this match who you believe you are? Or does it match who we believe we are? And if your self-concept says, I struggle with money, your brain, it will look for the evidence that confirms that. If your self-concept says, well, people don't listen to me, you will notice every moment that people don't listen to you and reinforce that identity. And it's not a punishment of any kind. I don't believe or feel the universe works in that way, but it is the brain protecting the identity because it believes it to be true. And so, how many times in your day do you express these limiting beliefs within yourself based on your self-concept? And so we can talk about like this mirror, right? I don't know if you've, experienced it in that way, but the mirror, right? Like the world, the universe, your life is not happening to you, it's happening through you. And so if your world is constantly mirroring the relationship you have with yourself, in how you see yourself, in how you speak to yourself, in how you treat yourself, your life organizes around that. And which is why people often feel like they're repeating the same patterns over and over again. The pattern is not just outside of you, it's rooted in your identity. And so constantly you were reaffirming this concept of who you are. You know, what is it that you say to yourself? It is the most powerful place to start. And the thing is that we've learned, based on our beliefs and our thoughts, right? That has created our identity. But the really beautiful thing is it has been created, which also means we can create it moving forward. That's what all of this is about. That's what all of this is so beautifully about. It's not just about, well, my self-concept is this, right? No, it's like your self-concept was this. And now you get to consciously create your new self-concept of feeling worthy, of having money, of being in your new, skinnier body or whatever it is that you want to see, right? You can create. You do create. And that is so powerful when we can understand that. It's not limiting, that our self-concept is this. It's where can we take it? What are these conversations we're having in our own minds and in our thoughts? There was a moment in my own life where I began noticing something really interesting. Nothing had really changed outside of me, but how I saw myself changed. The way that people responded to me changed. Opportunities that appeared, they changed. The way I carry myself changed. Relationships changed around me and continue to. And it is based upon the identity I am embodying, right? This new identity that I am embodying is what has created all of these shifts within my life. And we are vibrating energy out of us. People feel us. That is true, right? They feel us before we even say anything. And so if you feel worthy, if you know you are worthy, if there's no blame, shame, and guilt that you're carrying around, your life organizes around that identity. And so it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful because you can consciously choose who you want to be. All of these thoughts, do you want to feel worthy and seen? Because no one is going to say, hey, you're worthy now. You're seen now. You're abundant now. No, it's not about that. It's about here first. It's about you first. You first. And so the beautiful thing, right? Again, it's not fixed. Our identity is a simple learned pattern, and patterns can be observed. And so pay attention, because the moment you start observing these patterns, you create that space between you and the identity. And the space is where your choice returns. Try that on. And here's a practice, right? Because in order for you to really understand what I'm saying, and I don't mean from an education level or anything like that, but it is to try it on. Because you can read all the books, you can watch all of the TikToks, you can watch all the YouTubes, you can read all the posts, you can take another course. If you don't try it on, how do you know what it feels like? How do you know what it feels like, right? And I'm coming to you sharing this self-concept because it is something that I am very consciously aware of and actively shifting to understand the self-concept within myself, to witness, to practice, and to shift. And you can do it too. This is your time. This is your, if you're listening to this, then it must be for you. So try it on. And so here's something you can try today. The next time you notice yourself reacting to something, pause and ask yourself, who am I being right now? Not what am I feeling, not what is happening, but who am I being right now? And then a second question is this who I want to be? Because awareness allows you to choose again. And so you don't have to wait for somebody else to say, hey, no, you are worthy now. You are loved right now. If you want to be seen, then be seen, right? Who are you being right now? And is that who you want to be? Do you want to be your reactions? Do you want to be blaming yourself, shaming yourself, and guilting yourself? Because your life is organizing around that. But what if we removed it all? It's just our ego trying to keep us safe anyways. It's just a narrative that we've created. It doesn't serve us. But we assume it does because that's what everyone tells us. And I don't think that they do it intentionally. They don't say, hey, Tiffany, you're not great, right? But everyone around us is continuously shaming themselves, guilting themselves, and blaming themselves. So what do? We engage in these narratives. Stop. Who are you being right now? And is that who you want to be? Then be it. Try that on. I promise you your life will shift, but you can't know it unless you try it on. Right? Our self-concept, who we understand ourselves to be, that deserves our attention. That deserves our attention, and I pay attention to it within myself, and I pay attention to it unintentionally within other people. It is so easy to get caught up in these narratives. Well, we're thinking it, so it must be true. No. Just because you're thinking it, it doesn't mean it's true at all at any time. It's only if you identify it that now you are creating the truth within yourself. We have created everything in our life up until this point. And that, to me, is the most freeing thing to understand. Because if we have created it up until this point, now we can consciously create. Now we have choice. It's not just happening without our permission. I stand here in front of you because I am a speaker. If you don't listen, it doesn't make me any less of a speaker. Whereas prior to that, I wouldn't do the speaking because I'm waiting for the invitation. Like someone has to show me I'm worthy enough to do this. Until I changed who I want to be. And you can do the same. Who do you want to be? And then be that. And don't falter. If somebody is confirming something, if you don't have that concept, that self-concept in it, they can't confirm it. It just becomes something their self-concept, really, right? We're always expressing that. We all come from so many different spaces and places in our life. We all have our own traumas. We all have our own wounds. We all have our own thoughts, our own narratives constantly running. And we don't have to be anything. You have the opportunity to choose who you want to be. And allow that to shift, that concept, that self-concept of you. Your nervous system organizes reality around who you believe you are, not who you say you want to be, but who you believe yourself to be. And the moment you become aware of that identity, you regain the ability to shift it, which means you have the ability to shift your life. So today, notice who you're being. And is that who you want to believe or who you want to be? Notice. Is that who you want to be? And hey, if you don't believe me, try it on. Try it on. If this resonates, follow along for more of these transmissions, reflections, practices like this. We're learning how to observe the patterns running our lives, so we can begin living more consciously and with intention. Until next time, cheers.